Hi, this is James Headley. Forgive the appearance today, but out for a weekend walk. Going to take advantage of the fact that the Terrapin Point Golf Course is closed today here at the landings to give you a tour of that golf course, one of the 6 here. As always, thanks so much for tuning in to the Living in Savannah channel. I appreciate you liking, subscribing, and sharing. And before we get started, let's have just a quick spin around here at the Clubhouse, the Palmetto Clubhouse, which serves as the starting point, pro shop for the Terrapin Point course, as well as the Palmetto Golf Course. You see behind me the range and practice facility. There's a short game area back over there. See the Island Scoop, ice cream stand that is open during the summer here. That's the Palmetto Clubhouse in the background there. And one of the 2 practice putting greens here, primarily the Palmetto putting green. And then we have the Terrapin Point putting green just back there behind me, as well as the 18th hole of the Palmetto course, which we'll take a look at in a future video. But let's get started and get out and have a tour of the Terrapin Point Golf Course. Here we are at the first tee. I'm going to take you around from the club tees, which are played by the majority of members here at this Willard Bird design golf course. First hole is a slight dogleg right, par 4. You can possibly see the flag off there in the distance. Up at a relatively benign starting hole. That brings us to number 2, as you can see, another par 4. This one's truly about the drive as much as anything else. Not necessarily a second shot hole, of course all par 4s are, but you'll get a sense here as I head up to the club tee. All the way down the left side of this hole, and then jutting out a bit further out in the distance, we have water. Hazard that definitely can come into play if you tend to hit it a little bit left. Nice bailout area on the right with the trees coming into play just a bit. Green off in the distance, protected by a fairly large bunker on the left-hand side of it. Of the 108 holes here on the island, only one of them does not have a bunker. So a little bit of trivia for you there. Number 3 on Terrapin Point is the first of the par 3s. It's also our first look out at Marsh. Here we are in the western Marsh. Terrapin is not probably most people's favorite golf course. It's also not their least favorite. But I would say that it is likely going to be most people's most scenic course. Certainly some of the prettier views out here. As you'll see, we get out to the marsh a few different times and get some different looks, both the western and the eastern marsh. Here we have a nice little shortish, only playing 129 to the middle, par 3, over a bit of a hazard here, and some fairly good protection on the left side with those bunkers, and it does run off on the right down to a waste area. Just behind the 3rd green here, we have the Diamondback Terrapin nesting areas, hatcheries. There's a very active program out here on the island with volunteers helping out to protect those eggs and ensure the future of the terrapin population out here. So you'll see folks out checking on the boxes, ensuring that all is well, putting some of the mamas back into these areas. We actually had an interesting event here this year where a terrapin had actually gone into one of the bunkers on this golf course and laid eggs in the bunker, buried them, and they were only discovered after the hatchlings had started to come out and crawl out. So you never know what you might find out here, but the beauty and the surroundings, these are all Audubon certified golf courses, just spectacular. As we go around, I'll show a few homes as well, but you get a little bit of a taste for the differences in the architecture out here with some wood homes, stucco, a little bit of both. Definitely as the newer homes were built, most of those you're going to see are going to be of the stucco variety, but plenty of wood panel homes as well. Here we are on the club tees, 352 yards from here. This is a severe dogleg right, par 4. See that large fairway bunker in the distance, just right of that. And left of those trees is where you want to be, and makes it a pretty easy hole if you can get the drive out there in the fairway. Brings us to the tee at number 5, which is the first of the par 5s here at Terrapin Point. 487 yards from the club tees. See some bunkers off there in the distance on the right. This is a dog leg to the left. And let's get a little bit of a sweep around to give you a little sense of the architecture, what to expect. Wooded lots are the norm. Get a lagoon or lake view, or a marsh view, or a golf view. Those are going to be your primary options. A little something for everyone out here. Single family homes primarily. There are a handful of townhouse communities scattered throughout the landings, but you're primarily looking at single family homes, starting as low as the 500s, but primarily in the 6s, and then the median home prices are in the 700 to 800,000 range. You can certainly go significantly higher than that, upwards of 2 million, but a little bit of an option for all price ranges, and your dollar definitely stretches considerably here. A lot more than I might have guessed, actually. Really good values out here for what you get in this gated community. The Landings Club itself, which this Terrapin Point golf course is one of the 6 golf courses in the Landings Club, is optional. There is no requirement to join if you live out here. Most do join, whether it be as a social member or a golf member or a sports member, take advantage of the racket sports, bocce, etc. But very manageable, great amenities, great staff, and just a really social membership as well. So a lot of pluses out here, in addition to the golf and the beautiful surroundings. And I will up here around the corner so we can have a look at what the second shot starts to look like as we move out along the fairway here. You can see the flag off in the distance, and we will stop there and pick it back up with the 6th hole. And here we are approaching the 6th tee. Get a sense of a little bit more of the architecture around, some traditional Old South homes. The 6th is a dogleg left. Tee shot can be a little intimidating at times, just a matter of how much of the water you want to try to cut off. You see there's a waist area off in the distance. We're just coming up to those club tees now. Certainly the farther left you go and take on the water, the shorter that second shot is. The whole plays 349. Some great, definitely some great views out here. And one of my favorite features out here, just these rope bridges. There are just a few of them on the courses. This one, definitely one of the more distinctive. And as you come across, just opens up the hole. We'll look at one of our large interconnected lagoons, which help with drainage and water management throughout the community. And off in the distance there at the left, we'll start to see the green come into focus. Protected on the right by that bunker. And on to the 7th. And here we are at the 7th tee. This is a dogleg right, 354 from the club tees. And this Very peaceful setting here. Definitely helps on this golf course to be able to shape the ball left to right and right to left, as you have seen already. There are dog legs, a number of them in both directions, so that's a plus. But if you hit it straight down the middle, you can play anywhere, right? As we finish up with the 7th, we'll head back out to the Marsh, have a look at one of the prettiest holes, I think, on the island, the par 3 8th, which we'll be coming up to, which the first time I played this golf course, heading out there was just this pretty pleasant surprise, which you'll see in just a moment. And here we are at that 8th hole. We've just crossed the road to this par 3. Generally plays into the wind. Take an extra club or two. I've learned the hard way, as the breeze definitely comes off of the marsh and the water, which we'll have a look at here as we get up onto the green. Sometimes hard to read the putts because it's just such beauty all around that get a little distracted. Here on the island, most courses have 6 to 7 sets of tee boxes. So there's something for everyone, from the championship tees up to the skidaway tees. There are also family tee markers out here, USGA family tees, for the youngsters getting started, or for older folks just getting started, looking to play a distance that makes the course manageable and fun. Lots of options out here at the landings. And we will come up here to the green and get a sense of this sweeping vista out here. Yeah, one of my favorite holes on the island. Definitely pretty and a challenge. And that'll take us over to number 9. We'll just keep going as we head over to the tee boxes there. 9 is a par 5. Terrapin is a bit unique, certainly unique for the island out here, in that in links style, not necessarily the course being link style, but the 9th hole is about as far from the clubhouse as you can possibly get. You do not return to the clubhouse until 18. You're out for the day here on Terrapin. Number 9 is a really good finishing hole to the front 9. It's a par 5, reachable with a good drive, but definitely risk reward, as we'll see as we come up to the club tees there. Bit of a dog leg to the left, marsh all the way down the left hand side. Elevated green. If it's a back pin, it's a tough one to challenge because it runs off pretty quickly back into the marsh there. And we'll take a look from at the views up there as we get to the green. But again, golf in a idyllic setting with some wonderful homes and wonderful home choices. Here we are with that back pin on 9, and those views to die for. That concludes our front 9, and we will head over to the 10th, passing one of the larger and more distinctive homes here. And here's our view as we walk up to the 10th tee. Par 4, dogleg left. Here's the view from the club tees. Again, a case of how much do you want to bite off? Going just right of those trees there, or big hitter and hit it high, hit it over those trees. Leave yourself a very short wedge in. But the name of the game is get it in play off of this tee and get it out there in the fairway and give yourself a chance. As we look back down the fairway and at some of the homes bordering on this 10th hole, so we will pan around and get our second to last look at the Marsh here on the Terrapin Point Golf Course. We do have one more hole, but we'll see some Marsh on the 15th. For now, as we come up to the green, get a look at the beautiful surroundings. Just off in the distance, on the trees there is the Delagal Marina. Some volunteers actually out at another of the turtle nesting areas, helping out here in the community. And we'll stop there so we don't disturb them and the turtles and move over to the 11th. Another look at the marina, some of the adjacent homes as we come up to the 11th tee box. 11 is a slight dogleg right, par 4. As we head back into the interior holes here on the island, leading up to the 15th, where we will again see a bit of the Marsh. That brings us to number 12 here at Terrapin Point. This par 3 plays in the 160-ish, 165 range typically, depending upon the pin. A little shorter, a little longer, but a straightforward par 3 for our first par 3 on the back on this par 72 course. And here we are on the 13th. It's a slight dogleg to the left, as you may be able to see. Straightforward hole. It does play a little longer than the yardage, I find. Good challenge. As always, if I can be of any help in answering questions about the landings, certainly about real estate or otherwise, it would be my pleasure to help you out. If you like what you're seeing, just a reminder to like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you at the 14th. Here we are at the 14th tee. This is a par 5, dogleg to the right. As always, first couple of shots tend to set up any par 5. I find on this hole, I would say probably this is a second hole par 5, as we'll see as we get up here. It's really, assuming you hit a reasonable drive, the second shot is a bit of navigation. How aggressive and risky do you want to get to give yourself a short or shorter third shot into an elevated green? But as you get further down, the fairway definitely narrows, water on both sides, so it's a matter of threading the needle a bit, which we'll see in just a moment. And here we see, this is just inside the 150 marker, so you can see as where your second shot might land that it does narrow in a bit here, and got some lake here, and then some more lake lagoon on the other side with the green, an elevated green, bunkering about a third to a half of the green covered by bunker, front and back. A good par 5, good test, over 500 yards from the club tees here on number 14. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the 15th hole, our last bit of the Marsh here on the Terrapin Point Golf Course. As we look out across, in this case, the eastern Marsh. The adjoining homes is doing a bit of yard work, a homeowner out here, so apologies for the noise. hopefully the views make up for it. Just behind this tee box, through those woods, maybe 50 yards, the other side of those woods is Sunrise Park. You can get a sense of some of what you might want to come out and enjoy as an early riser. Views out across the marsh here and down this par 4. Second shot is the big shot. You may be able to see lots of bunkering in front of this elevated green. Not very deep green, so it at times feels like you're trying to land the ball in a 5-foot radius to get it anywhere close or keep it on. A little easier than that once you get up there, but it definitely is a bit of an intimidating look for the second shot into this par 4. And the last look at some of the homes here with great views of the marsh across the 15th hole. One of these homes was recently listed for $850,000, just to give you a sense. Roughly 3,000 square foot home, to give you a sense of what you might be able to get for your dollar here at the landings. And here we are back inland on the 16th hole. This is a par 4, dogleg right, just over 350 yards from the club tees. There's a tree on the right side that definitely can come into play. Get past that to have a clean look if you're on the right. Left is definitely a little more open and favorable, but of course you're a bit farther from the hole from there. And as we come down into the fairway, beginning of the landing area, second to last set of tees here, the island tees, where you can see the green off in the distance here on number 16. Here we are at the picturesque par 3, 17th hole, about 160 yards from the club tees, across water. And some nice homes with lovely views of the lagoon fronting this hole and the hole itself. Come down the home stretch. And that brings us to the finishing hole, a par 5. I think a relatively easy par 5, most would agree. It does have a sharp dog leg to the left, and there is a bit of water up around the green on the right side. Definitely reachable in 2 for moderate even to long hitters. You get the drive down far enough left of those fairway bunkers that we see on the right. Just left of those, anywhere. Does run downhill a little bit there. Get a nice kick and have an opportunity to get home in 2 on this hole. And here we are at about the 100-yard mark on this finishing 18th hole here. That beautiful Terrapin Point. The water that I referenced is coming into play if you leak it a little to the right on the second. Slightly elevated green, very large green here on 18. And there is the Palmetto Clubhouse through the trees with the island scoop and driving range, putting greens, where we began this tour. Thank you again for joining me today. I appreciate you tuning in for this walking tour of Terrapin Point Golf Course here at the Landings Golf and Athletic Club on Skidaway Island. If I can answer any questions for you, be any help, please do reach out anytime. It'd be my pleasure to work with you. And of course, I appreciate you liking, subscribing, and sharing. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks so much.